So welcome to my energy update. This is a bit of a mixed bag because there is so much going on, because we're in huge state of influx, transformation, all of the above. We're right in the middle of eclipse season. So there's that. All right. So I've got 3 PowerPoints for this energy update that I want to share with you. And and it's going to help you ground into some kind of rhythm, because let's face it, there's a lot going on. And talking about grounding and getting structured and organized, energy loves order, right? So that's the divine masculine, which is the orderly part, holding the space of the divine feminine, which is the creation codes and the chaos, which transforms into manifestation. Those are the templates that we're working with right now. So allowing the divine masculine to support you and allowing the divine feminine to flow with all of our creation codes, and the two come together. Now, this is the month of Ma'at. Ma'at is the Egyptian goddess of cosmic truth, law, order, balance, justice. And she is come like a freight train this month, really helping us live by her principles, which is very much, living in our physical lives, upholding Ma'at, which is basically bringing her very, very powerful principles into our everyday life, and then seeing the results of that, because we need to ground into what it is to be a physical human being a spirit body incarnate. Do you know what I mean? That's the two worlds coming together, as above, so below. So that's why Ma'at this month is very, very powerful in the assistance and guidance she's giving us. Now, just to remind you, I strategically put a very, very powerful, the Alchemy of Masterclass, very powerful, because we're bringing Sept and Hathor into the mix. We're going to be doing a free masterclass tomorrow on the 26th of September, and we're going to be doing that at 5 p.m. Central Africa time in my Zoom room, otherwise known as my temple. So I'll put the link in the write-up here, and come and join your community. Let's work together. Let's weave our energies together and start working as the alchemists that we know ourselves to be, and really take the energy of these eclipse frequencies into some kind of order, so we can integrate and we can embody, and you'll feel so much better for it. Okay, so that is tomorrow. So pop that in your diary. I will see you in the temple. Now, I've got my 3 points of this energy update. First of all, I have started to work very closely with the moon phases. I did it very sort of like, not so intensely as I am doing now. And I mean intense in a good way. I'm really following the moon structure, because that is, the moon is so divine feminine, right? And structure is divine masculine. There's that thing again. So now working with the moon cycles, and I'm not just talking about the 4 phases, I'm talking about the 8 phases, the bits in between. That is going to help you really understand why you may be feeling a certain way in your energy at a certain time. Like, for example, we've just come out of the waning gibbous phase, and we've gone into the last quarter. So we're going into the last quarter. Those 2 phases are very much about reflection, coming into your stillness a little bit of rest and recovery before we fire it up again for the new moon. So in light of that, like, I've been pushing an elephant up the hill and wondering why I'm getting so exhausted, because there are times throughout the moon cycles that it's time to go, but it's also time to chill. And that is also very much in alignment with the Hermetic principles and the universal laws, knowing when to run, knowing when to be still, knowing when to get up and go and take action. And when we work in alignment with all of this powerful magic around us, we will get a lot more out of our manifestations, right? So really what I'm talking about here is bringing more ritual into your space. Ritual is not ceremony. The 2 things are different. Ritual is something you repeat again and again and again. That's the order. It brings a rhythm to what we're doing here. Ceremony is opening up a space. There is a beginning, there is an end. Whatever happens in the middle is up to spirit, right? Do you know what I mean? So that's the difference, right? So bringing ritual into your space is really powerful at this time. So understanding and knowing that the last quarter is all about clearing your space, releasing and realigning with your intentions. Like, you know, if you want to do anything at all in your journaling, just kind of have a look at what's going on right now. You know, do you need to upgrade your intention a little bit? That thing that you wished for on the last new moon, all of the stuff that you released through the full moon, you know, are you still in the same place with that? Reassess and just revisit where you are at right now. But there's no need to be in action mode. So for those of you that are really tired out there, good reason for that, because you're supposed to be in rest and recovery before we fire it up again for the new moon on the 2nd of October. All right. So now, what is the next point? Trust is number 2 on my list. Okay, trust. Because right now we are in uncharted waters. We do not know where we're going. And, and that's a good thing, because that shows us that we're in this kind of like washing machine, disorientated. There's so much, it all feels a bit woozy and dreamy. That's the divine feminine. But because we're so used to being in control with the divine masculine, we're like, oh, this is like really bad, stranger danger. Let's like kind of like grab onto it and try and fix it and get back on top of my game, try and like, get back on top of my rhythm and just, get back into control again. But we don't want to do that, because that's what we're working to get away from. So that woozy feeling and feeling a bit kind of like, whoa, I don't know what's going on. That requires a lot of trust, because you must know this is the divine feminine. This is what she feels like now. She comes in and she takes control in her way of everything. And that's why they call it the divine feminine mysteries, because there is no ending. Whereas the divine masculine is like X plus Y equals Z, and there's a conclusion, right? Which works sometimes. But with the divine feminine, it just is. And you go with the flow and you just trust and know how this goes. A friend of mine brought a beautiful analogy. She said, the rose does not go to the bee. The bee comes to the rose. Oh, don't you just love that? Be the rose, okay? Because that's exactly what we are, right? So with the trust, I've actually written here, it's written in the stars. So isn't that wonderful thing? Maybe we can just sit with that today, that when we, in these times of a massive transformation and change, there's no way that you should be able to know where you're going. That's not what we're doing here. So now it's written in the stars. Your destiny is your destiny. You've signed off on this before you came. So you just have to let go and let God, or let go and let the divine feminine do her thing, right? So it's so trust is a huge thing. And acceptance, I want to chuck into this mix here as well, because I was given this analogy the other day of just like, yeah, well, acceptance is the biggest grounding thing that you can actually work with. Now, I am very much a starseed. I struggle getting my roots into the earth because I'm so up there. Now, I can sit here for hours and pretend I'm an oak tree, put my roots into the earth, bury myself in the earth. I don't know. Think of red all day, wear red, whatever. And I still battle with grounding, because I need something more every day. So when somebody said to me, well, acceptance of your chaos that's going around you is grounding. And I was like, aha. That's a golden key. So be accepting of what's going on around you, because acceptance is the gateway to joy. If you are in flow, and chaos is all around you, that's okay, that's all right, but you're accepting that this too shall pass, everything is fine, it's just frequency, then you're in the divine feminine and you're in alignment with the flow, and acceptance is going to keep your roots sturdy without you having to, visualize you're an oak tree. So acceptance, okay? So trust is a big thing right now. Everything is fine. And that is where the divine feminine is showing herself very strongly with each and every one of us, all right? Now, my final point, water. Go with the flow. We know that water needs to run. It finds its quickest way to get around a rock or whatever it might be. It's pliable. It's water, right? It's cleansing. It's healing. It's life force. It's the womb. I mean, we could go on so much about what water actually is, right? But with water, it brings flexibility. I always say to people, it's my favorite saying, I'm going to soak you in water, which means like soak you in water for a couple of days. Let's revisit the issue. And then you're a bit more pliable and you've got more flexibility in what's going on. So that then feeds back into our trust, right? So we need the water. In fact, water and trust are the two things that are working right now, because the water will indeed bring flexibility to you, all right? And your thought processes and all of the above, right? So soaking your ideas in water, where can you visualize in your meditations that you can just soak in the water, just be there, just bob in on your, on your back in the Nile or wherever you visualize yourself to be, just bob in on your back and just being held by the water and just knowing and trusting that all is well without any need to control, because the water's got you and you are 80-90% water anyway, right? So if you soak it in water and you allow the cleansing energy of that to come in through your meditations and everything like that, drink more water, have more baths, whatever, you're going to find that your ideas are going to take flight, because you're coming away from the rigidity of how you've been thinking, right? So remove rigidity. So how can you bring that even more so in your life? Get more focused with this. Yin yoga. Think about it. When you stretch a very tight muscle, because when the body is holding on to too much emotion, it's stiff. So if you actually stretch the muscle, like truth here when you put your leg out and you stretch your hamstring, you're like, that's so tight, and it's flipping sore in the first few moments. But then when you sit with it a bit longer, eventually the muscle lets go because you soak it in water. And then what happens is you gain flexibility through what is deemed a pocket of uncomfortability and pain. So think about that. There's going to be a little bit of a barrier here that you move through when it comes to stretching your muscles and being flexible, right? So that's a physical way to actually honor what I'm sharing with you now. So that's my share with you for you today with the energy update. So I'll be seeing you tomorrow in Temple. Looking forward to that. The Alchemy of Ma'at. How exciting that we're gathering tomorrow. So many of us. So excited to see a lot of you on YouTube because we only just speak through comments. So I'm going to get to see you on the big screen. So yeah, that's what I'm most excited about. So yeah, so let this land, soak yourself in water, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.